Hello everyone, welcome to my weekly live stream. I'm glad to be back. We're going to jump right in here because I need your help deciding which products from the latest Simon Says stamp release to use. These are both kind of groups of products that I designed for the release. So I'm going to show you them first and then I'll put up the poll and you can vote in the chat. That's for everyone who's watching live. Fortunately, those who are watching the replay won't be able to vote, but hopefully those who vote tonight will pick what you wanted. All right, so this is Summer Fruit Tiles. It's a really large background, and then you've got the different sized solids to stamp the different little tiles in specific colors. Also, these greetings down here are sized to go inside of these shapes, so you can really use them all together. Here are dies so that you can cut out the different segments that are the right size, as well as some more tight-in dies for the greetings. And then you have a stencil with just the 3 sizes of the tiles so that you can isolate individual tiles and ink blend over them. So all of 3 products work really well together. So this is Summer Fruit Tiles, or we have this one, which is a stamp and stencil set. So here's the stamp set. This is called Beautiful Blooms. Some really pretty flowers. And then you can pair it with this 3 stencil layered set. And when you use them together, you get all the flowers. So you do all the stenciling first and then you stamp the flowers over the top. So you can use everything all together. And there's only 3 stencil layers. So this example that I put together here on the packaging is only 3 colors of ink. And I really love this example. So I actually pulled those same colors in case we choose this product. So we've got these 2 sets here. We've got Summer Fruit Tiles, or we have the Beautiful Blooms. I'm going to go ahead and start that poll, and you can start voting on which one you'd like me to use tonight. And that doesn't mean that I won't use the other one in an upcoming video or a live. I could definitely do that. So yeah, even if your selection is not the majority tonight, maybe I'll use it in a video soon. I'm just watching all the, oh my word, they're neck and neck right now. Oh gosh, it could be that we're not going to have one that pulls ahead. Keep voting, y'all. Let's get a consensus here. It's very half and half right now. It is, oh my word, it's exactly 50-50 right now. That's hilarious. I need one to really pull ahead, please. Come on, y'all. Well, both are great. In fact, I probably could do both tonight if I kept my ideas for the cards really, really simple. I probably could do both. Okay, let's go here. Okay, there's nothing's pulling ahead. It's like literally 50-50. That is hilarious. So funny. We're still going here. It's still 50-50 for those who are watching the replay. Seriously, it's like 51%, 49%, and then it goes to 50-50, and then back to 49 and 51 in the other direction, and then back to 50-50. It really is like half and half. All right, I'm going to give it just a few more minutes. If it's still right on 50-50, we're going to have to do both. All right, it's literally 50-50. Oh, this is hilarious. Yes, there's some comments that are saying that the fruit one is really different. But I love that. I love really different stuff. In fact, we don't have to do the whole background. We could isolate one of the segments and do that instead. Oh my word, it's still 50-50. 49-50. You know, it's not going to change. All right. We're ending it and it's practically 50-50. So, all right, I guess we'll do both. I'm like, suddenly my evening is getting longer and longer. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the Beautiful Blooms cards. And we will explore both of these. All right, so I'm working directly on my card front. And I think trying to decide which stencil I want to work with first. On the back of the packaging, I don't know if you guys can see this, the light pink layer is the outer area of the words. I think that might be the best option to start with because then I can put the darker pink on top. So I'm going to use this stencil. Can you see there's like a little bit of a line on the outside? That's to help you line it up with your A2 card. So I'm going to get that lined up, flip it over, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of tape on the back to hold it in place while I do all of my ink blending. I'll just tape those right there, just so nothing's going to move around. You know what? That one's the dark one. What am I doing? Wrong layer. We're going for the one that has the really thick hugs. That's the one we want. Okay. Alrighty here. So it's like this. I'll just get this lined up. Okay. All right, so the three colors I've chosen, we've got a dark pink, a light pink, and a yellow, kind of an orangey yellow. We've got taffy, bubblegum, and honey. I'm going to start with bubblegum. Let me get a drink here. I'm trying to stay hydrated. Okay. And I think I'm also going to put down just a piece of paper just because I think I'll blend off the edge here and I want to keep the back of my card really clean. So let's just prep this area with a little bit of that. Hold on one minute. I just got to grab some tape to hold that down. Y'all, I cleaned my craft room a little bit. You could ask Sika. She saw it multiple times this weekend. She was in town for Concord and Ninth Summer Camp 2024. She saw the craft room. So she can verify that I did clean. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but very clean for me. Okay. I'm going to start with bubblegum. And I'm just going to bring in a really light layer of this pink. And this is one of those ink formulations that it does dry back just a little bit. It smooths out and dries back. In fact, I think it'd be so pretty to do this with like gradient colors coming down. Oh, that'd be gorgeous. But we're going to keep it really simple tonight and just do some simple... Oh, crap. Did I break my stencil? Go back. That is a very tenuous little piece there, isn't it? I should have used pixie spray. Hold on. I'm just going to hold that in place. We might have a little pink gone astray in the middle of our hugs design. Good to make a mental note of that. It's a very, very little precarious spot right there. Okay. So I'll pull up this layer of the stencil. Oh, look at it. It messed up. I want to do that again. I want it to look good. Let's do it again. Because that's, you know what? I'm going to spray it with pixie spray. Because then hopefully that'll stay in the right spot. Hold on. I'm going to spray my stencil with pixie spray real quick. I don't think there's any other little spots on the stencils that are a little bit delicate like that. Pull this out. I always just spray everything like in a box to hopefully contain it a little bit. And then step away from the box, try to air out the area a little bit. Okay. Okay. Just waiting for the back of this stencil to dry a little bit because you want to let it have a little bit more time to dry. Oh, Michelle Greenwood is a new supporter of the channel. Welcome, Michelle. We have our first, your first member live is happening this Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So that will be so fun. Okay. I'm going to get this lined up again. It's a little different now that I've got the pixie spray on it. But I am going to tape it to the back just to be safe. I think I probably can just do this. That'll hold it. Okay, so now that area shouldn't move around. Yes, Andrea, exactly. Andrea says, I'm just going to put her comment up on screen because it's very true. If you need to mess up, better to do it at the beginning when you're not as invested in the process. So true. Because then you can just like pick up and start again. In fact, that first ink blending kind of made me feel like I want to do an even lighter application. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an even lighter application. As much as I can anyway. Oh yeah, using pixie spray was good. Because that area is not moving at all now. Shy is asking in the comments what summer camp is, the C9 summer camp. It is a virtual card making event or a paper crafting event that Concord and Ninth has hosted every year since the year 2021. So this was the 4th summer camp. And it is 3 days of fun and paper crafting and some slight mayhem. There was a prank that we played on camp director Greg. Greg is the founder of Concord and Ninth, and he is the main host for the event. And we played a prank on him, and it was awesome. Okay, that went much better this time. All right, lovely. Ta-da! Okay. So now I'm going to do this other one. I'm going to take this tape off because I'll put it back on here in a minute, but I want to make sure I have the freedom to move this around and get it into the right spot. Kind of getting it lined up on those corners helps, but also I can use just what I've already ink blended as a guide to get the letters perfectly centered. Okay, I think that's about right. Yeah, I think that's about right. So I'll just tape from the underside. Hopefully those don't move around. Just because I'm paranoid. Put 2 more pieces of tape down. And I'm going to switch to the darker pink, which is Taffy. Okay. Make sure I've got that not too dark. And I'm just very gently coming in and blending. Oh my word, it's so weird to use the handle on the blending brush. I always hold the head of the blending brush. It is so weird. I don't think I can do that. Back to the head of the blending brush. I think this would be a really fun layer to ink blend, or not ink blend, but add like gold to. I think it'd be really, really pretty. Adding a little more here in the center. And I'm like changing the direction of my circles of blending because if you only ever go in one direction, you might not get the full area. Such a pretty dark magenta. I love that color. I think taffy might be one of my favorite colors. Yvonne says the end of the brush doesn't give you any control. Very true. I would agree with that. Oh, that's perfect. Love that. All right, and then we've got our last one, which is for kind of like the leaves and the centers of the flowers. So I'm going to remove all the tape. There we go. And we'll just get this lined up. All right, we've got the center of the flowers, which I cannot do in yellow, so it'll just have to be that taffy shade again. But then we've got the leaves, which I guess I could have in green, but I kind of liked the yellow for that one. Put that tape back on. Make sure I've got all that lined up just right. Yep, should be good. I'm gonna put my pink blending brush away and grab the honey color. And I'm gonna grab a smaller blending brush too, just because these are smaller areas. And even though the leaves probably would be green, I'm gonna do them in yellow because I think it's gonna look really, really cool. Okay. Skipping over these center areas. In fact, you know, maybe I will do a little bit of, yeah, that would be really pretty, like a gold embossing paste over the centers of those flowers. So I think I will do that, but I'm gonna wait until after I've done my stamping here at the end. Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna wait till I've done my stamping here at the end, and then, or I guess I could do, well, I'm trying to figure out how I wanna do this. Because I do want to have another little center on those flowers, but I'm trying to decide how I want to do it. Let's just go ahead and stamp first, and then I can go back to that stencil if I want to do those centers. All right, we're probably going to come back to that here in a minute. So I'm going to save my paper. And come to my MISTI. Moving my ink pads out of the way. All right, and then we're gonna do a bunch of stamping. I'm gonna grab a sticky mat to put inside my MISTI just so I can have my card kind of right in the center in case I have any stamps that are near the edges. Okay. And we're going to be stamping all of these in taffy. And we're just going to take some time. Simon's got to Christina this weekend. What does that mean? I don't know. Oh, because of the paste. Got it. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, what? All right, I'm going to refer to the back of the stencil packaging to see which flower goes on top of each section, just to make sure I get the right ones. You'd think since I designed this that I would know, but I don't. So here we go. I'm gonna try to take my time, kind of getting these lined up. Okay, what one's up there? Looks like it's this one. Okay, and then we've got this one up here in this corner. It can be hard to line these up just right, but I'm hoping I can get this. And then the last big flower in this bottom corner. Let's see if I can get this lined up right. It's hard to see exactly through. After you've used your stamp and the stamp might be a little bit stained, I feel like it's easier to line them up. Okay, this one down here looks like this one. And I think even if they're not perfectly lined up, which they probably won't be, it'll still be pretty cute. Okay, I think that's about all I can do because I think the other ones will be too close. So let's stamp this first. Once again with taffy, I'm going to use my fingers over the stamps just to kind of condition them a little bit so they take the ink a little bit better. And I can always stamp multiple times, which I think I might need to since I'm stamping a lot of stamps over a large area. Stamp those down. Let's see how I did. Did I line them up pretty good? That's pretty good. I think this is the only one that's really off. Okay, I don't feel like I need to stamp any of those again. So I'm going to grab my baby wipes to clean off these stamps. I'm having some people in the comments agreeing with me that used stamps that have been kind of stained a little bit, are easier to line up. It's so true. And I remember a while back, in fact, maybe Tim Holtz still recommends this, to kind of condition your stamps by inking them up with archival ink and then letting it dry. And so you have like a black background as you're lining things up. Could be interesting. Okay, going back to, looks like this little segment of leaves are right up here. Just trying to get that lined up the best I can. So the other segment of leaves is right here, and it overlaps onto the letter U. Okay, looks like we can get this one down here. And I'm like, good luck trying to get that lined up. The flower is very teeny tiny. It won't be perfect. That's okay. This one is right here. And I think if you were doing a bunch of these cards, like multiples, you could, oh, hello. You could probably like have your card in the bottom corner, arrange a bunch of stamps, and then move it to the top, arrange those, and then you could like move them, you know, from side to side and do all of your stamping. I think that'd be a great way to maximize it all. Okay, this little leaf looks like it's down here. Just getting that lined up. And then, let's see. Where is this flower? Oh, I can't do that one yet. But I can, let's see, which one is it? It looks like this one. is right here. That one's probably going to be really off. I can't really see it all that well at the moment. Okay, I think everything else is a little too close. I'm going to have to give it another stamp after this one. It would be really pretty to do all this stamping and do gold embossing. Wouldn't that be so pretty? You definitely have to wait for your inking underneath to completely dry though. And since I'm live here, probably not the best option. Oh, I didn't condition my stamps with my fingers. Well, hopefully it'll be okay. It's okay. It's a little blobby, not the best, but okay. Okay, we'll clean those up and then continue on. Just putting my stamps back on the packaging. Just got a few more images to stamp. We're almost done. Okay, looks like we've got this little guy up here and this flower right here. Let's see. Trying to figure out where it's positioned. I think that's pretty close. And then we've got this flower right here. And then that little leaf up there. Okay, just those 4 little images, and then we'll be done with all the stamping. Actually, we'll pretty much be done with this card, but I think you could put a greeting right across the middle as well, and I think that'd be really pretty. Oh, forgot to condition the stamps again. Whatever. Okay, not bad. I think I want to do just a little bit of ink blending right on the outer edge of the card, just to give it a little bit of that pink color. I think it could make it look really dramatic. So let's finish it off with a little more ink blending, and then we'll do the summer fruit tiles. All right, so peel this up off my sticky mat. And then I put my plastic back on my sticky mat. Card is almost done. Put my MISTI away. Bringing that white paper back. And then I think I'm just going to do this taffy color just really lightly on the outer edges. In fact, I might still have some of that ink left on my brush. Oh, yep, I do. Just to bring in a little bit of that pink on the edges. I think that'll really finish it off. I think I could have actually done the yellow too. I think the yellow would have been really pretty. And then let me know in the chat, should I add the gold paste over the centers of the flowers? I think it looks okay as is, but it might give it just a little something. Oh, Halia Loves Mac says it's too pink. It needs more yellow. No, I don't think I want it. I think it would start to turn orange if I added the yellow on now. I don't mind it being super pink. But I think I do want to do that solar paste. And then we can let it dry. You can use a spray bottle that has rubbing alcohol in it just to clean off that stencil. And I use the rubbing alcohol because it'll clean it off really easy and dries fast. Okay, so now I can get it lined up in the centers of those flowers. Oh, well, you lose all that pretty stuff right there. I guess I don't have to do it there, though. But these, oh, maybe I don't want to do solar paste. I kind of only want it in, like, these flowers. You know? Maybe I don't want it. Yeah, I don't think I do. We'll skip it. This card's done. I guess if I wanted to, I could use a gold pen. Hello, Christina. There are other ways to add gold to your cards. Let's do that. Let's put a gold pen on it. I'm trying to find, I want to say I had a gold jelly roll or something that I was going to test out. Where did I put those? When I was cleaning my craft room, I think I put them in here. I did not. Where would I have stashed those? They couldn't have gone far. Well, seriously, y'all, I just saw them. Okay, well, I do know that Karen Markers has their Deco Gel pens, and their metallics are really good. So maybe I could use those. Let me see here. And we will most definitely test it out before putting it on the card. Okay. So the Deco Gel Metallic. Oh, look at that. The gold ones are wanting to fly right out. Vicky says, I thought I was organizing my craft room. It's totally disorganized now. Can't find a thing. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I knew where that pack of Jelly Roll pens were. Okay, so we've got, this is gold. What's this one? Wait. Dark gold and then gold. We probably want gold. Okay, there's also like a pink metallic that could probably be really pretty. All right, let's test this out on a little bit of paper. This Post-it works. Ooh, is the gold gonna clash with the yellow? It might clash with the yellow. Maybe we want silver. Or maybe even just white. I think a white gel pen could be good too. Okay, let's try... Let's try a silver. Yeah, this one's silver. I think I just want white. You know, sometimes you just have to experiment and like look at every single product in your crafting stash in order to find what you want to use. And I do know I have a white gel pen right here. And it is working lovely. So I can just do... And something I've noticed with Jelly Roll pens is sometimes if it's on top of an ink that is reactive to moisture, which this ink is, sometimes it takes on the color that it's drawn on top of. So it might even, hold on, okay, there we go. It might even take on a little bit of that pink color, which I think could look really cool. Okay. I'm just kind of getting this centered. I'm just working on the centers of these flowers. I'll leave that one as is. Oh, they're cute. Betsy, who has an awesome new logo for her profile pic, says, do you store your Gelly Roll pens horizontally or tip down? Horizontally. I don't know that it matters, but I've always done them horizontally. But I've also done them vertically before too, and I haven't had any issues. So I don't know. I've stored them both ways. Okay. Oh yeah, it's totally taking on a little bit of a pink underneath. Do you see that? It's taking on that light pink color. Love. That was a happy little accident. I love that. All right. So we're going to call that card done. And we're going to move on to the summer fruit tiles. Let me just close up this stamp set. And the stamp set has some really good greetings on it too. Down at the bottom. I guess I could do sending love and hugs right across the center there. That'd be cute. Just on black or something. Okay. I'll have to clean up my stencils in a bit. So for this grouping of products, we've got the stamps, the stencil, and the dies. I'm thinking I won't use the stencil today, but I will use dies. Like maybe I'll isolate a few of my favorite little icons and then put them together on a card. I think that could be really cute. All right, heading back to my Misty. All right, and I'm gonna have to cut some paper to be a 6x6. Hold on, I'm gonna have to cut some paper really quick. I want to get the whole pattern here. All right. Okay. 6x6. And I'll use my little sticky mat as well because I want to make sure I get edge to edge. And sometimes with large stamps like this, if you put it directly into the corner, it doesn't have enough pressure right in the corner to get everything. Okay. That looks good. We'll put our magnet down right there. Pick up that really large stamp. It's going to pick up the mat with it. So I need to make sure if I stamp multiple times, I make sure it's in that bottom corner. And I'm kind of thinking I'll color these with Copic markers and then maybe even stamp them again and put gold embossing on top. Would that be crazy? That might be crazy. Maybe I'll do just regular black. No, I want to do the Copics. Okay, so I'm going to use, I need to use like a No Line coloring ink pad, which Hero Arts has a contour ink. Let's see. Can I use it? Oh, works with alcohol markers. Perfect. All right, so this is the Hero Arts contour ink. Got like a bubble right there. Please go down. I might have to. There we go. It's a very large clear stamp. Using a stamp press tool just to really get this pressed all the way down. Okay, oh, I can barely see that. Okay, let's do it one more time and hopefully it'll show a little bit more. Hey, Sophie. Sophie's my cat. She's, well, one of my two cats. She's down there meowing, singing the song of her people, as I say. Sophie, hey, come here. Okay, that's better. I can see that a little bit more now. Okay. I'm gonna wipe down this stamp. We might have to come back with Versamark and stamp in gold. So I'm not going to remove it. I'm not going to remove this from my Misty, but I will remove this so I can do my coloring. And I'm just going to put that plastic over the bottom here just so I can rest my wrist while I color. Okay, so now we need to pick some colors. I'm getting my Copics out. Yeah, Shy, that's not a baby. But you know what they say? They say that like what is it? Like scientifically or whatever, that cats have developed cries to sound like babies because they get more attention from humans that way. Isn't that interesting? All right, I'm going to pick out some colors for my watermelon. RV25. Because I really love the watermelon image here. So I'm going to do that one. You know what I'm realizing? Those of you who have watched me on lives for a long time, you guys know that I suffer from like seasonal allergies really, really bad. I think maybe I'm finally past the springtime and fall allergies because I am smelling these Copic markers more than I have recently. And my sense of smell is so heightened. It's kind of crazy. Hi, Soph. Come here. Hi. You know, I'm just going to go over the watermelon seeds. And then when I stamp it in gold, if it needs black, I can use a black pen just to fill it in. Hi, Soph. I can hear her walking through my craft room. It's like she has little high heels on because her claws are just, they're so long. I clip them, but just the way her paw is structured, they just stick out and they Click, 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 click across the floor. All right, I'm going to grab just a slightly darker color. I think R39 will do it. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of shading right down here at the bottom, and then I'll blend it up. I can't say I've ever colored on top of one of these little sticky mats before. I hope it doesn't bleed through too much. And even if it does, not that big of a deal. These sticky mats are relatively inexpensive. And if you're afraid to use your supplies that you've got in your craft room, like, what are you doing? Break them out. Show them their load. I've got to pick a transition color there that's something in between. What would a color in between that be? I guess an R29. Just because it's such a stark difference. Yeah, that'll work. Close enough. All right. I'm going to do a kind of a lighter green for the background on the watermelon. So I think YG03 and then YG17 will be great. So I've got YG17 as that darker green. This is almost like doing no line watercoloring. It's kind of crazy. Or not watercoloring, but Copic coloring. And when I'm doing no line coloring, I prefer to use watercolors. I'm a little more confident in making like a really smooth line. This is hard with Copics, man, I'm telling you. Okay. Then I'm going to take the light green YG03, and that is what I'm going to use for the background. And also this little spot right here in the middle, in between. Vicky's asking, is there a Copic class and online card classes? Yes, there is. Andrea just shared. Thank you, Andrea, for grabbing that link. She just shared a link to the Copic for Card Makers class. The class was done many years ago, but it's all the same techniques. In fact, I don't think Copic has even introduced any new colors since that class was out. So, still very valid information. So I'm going to color just maybe like 3 of these tiles, I guess you could call them, and then cut them out. So maybe there's like 3 different sizes of tiles on this image. I've got to decide what the other ones are going to be. I thought the watermelon was super cute. I kind of like the cherry. And maybe this one with the flowers. Not entirely a fruit, but it's really cute. All right, I'm just going over these areas, adding more green to really make them more solid. When you see streaks in your alcohol marker coloring, you just need to add more ink on top. Once the paper is completely saturated with the ink, no like coloring lines will show. See how that's starting to even out more? So now I'm going to come down here and add more. Like where you start and stop the coloring stroke, that's where it tends to kind of show a little bit more ink. There we go. This is the Summer Fruit Tiles stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This is one that I designed in their latest release. I have lost the cap to my marker. Oh, here it is. Yeah. In fact, you know, I kind of want to put a little bit of a darker green here at the bottom, just kind of like I did with the watermelon. So, no, actually, no, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. All right, if we do the cherries, there'll be red. So maybe I don't want to do cherries. Maybe I do something else. This orange is really cute too, like a little orange. Ooh, that'd be pretty, like, or even lemon. Make it a lemon. That could be cute. But I did want to like do 3 different sizes. Let's do, trying to decide. I like this flower right here too. That's really cool looking. But fruit is fun. The pear. No, that's a pear. That's an avocado. I'm like, what are these fruits? I think I will do the cherries. I think I will do the cherries, and I'll do the same reds because then it'll be like a matching situation. Okay, so actually I'm going to pick a slightly lighter red than this one. I'm not going to start with that one. Starting with R35. And I'm going to do like a highlight on the cherry. So I'm going to come in with R29. Oh, wrong end. Oh, you can't see the images with the light ink? I'm so sorry. I was hoping they'd still be visible on camera. All right, I'll do the light green. Just coming up like this. Keeping this one very simple. And then the dark green for the leaves. You know, perhaps this would have been easier to stamp the lines in black, since I'm just going to cover them with gold embossing powder anyway. It probably really wouldn't have mattered. All right, I'm thinking like a nice purple shade to go behind the cherries. Oh no, a light blue, very classic. We'll go for a light blue. So maybe like B00. Kind of like a retro picnic vibe. Yeah, let's check that color up there. Do I want it that color? Yeah, that'll work. So I don't know if anyone's asked this in the comments or not, but I could see how someone could ask, well, why didn't you just do your heat embossing and then use your Copics to color? That's because there's something in the alcohol ink for the Copics that breaks down the embossing powder. So if you're not careful, if you like color over the line or bump your marker into the embossing powder too much, it will start to eat away the embossing powder, and then it can actually transfer, the embossing powder will transfer to your brush on your marker, the brush tip, and then you can ruin the brush tip on your marker. So it's a little bit more obvious if you use like a dark embossing color or like a metallic embossing color. If you use white, it doesn't show quite as much on the tip of your marker, but you can ruin your marker. So that's why I chose to do it this way. Okay, for that other kind of size, let's see, if I tip it up like this, you might be able to see it better. Can you see it any better? I'm looking for like a longer one. So like this avocado or this flower. There's a carrot up here. And there's also this flower. The grapes are fun too. I'm trying to think here how... I think I could do like another square one even. Hi, Consuela. She's asking, is your cardstock class still available? Yes. Crushing on Cardstock is still available. It's over onlinecardclasses.com. If you go to onlinecardclasses.com and then just click on classes at the top, it will show all of our classes that are available. The carrot is really cute. And bringing in a little orange would be cute. Orange with purple. Okay, I'm sold. I am sold. Mary Paul, let's do that carrot. I think the carrot could be really, really cute. Let's see. Let's go with R21, YR21, and YR16. Let me find where these are at. All right. I'm just adding like a lighter orange to one side of the carrot. And then I'm going to add the darker orange to the other side. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Oh, you want to see the actual images? They look like this. See, that's the carrot up there. There's the watermelon, and then the cherries. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I might need another orange to be a transition color. These are very different. Yeah, let's get another orange as a transition. YR12. Carrot's looking a little brown, but I think the brightness will come back as it dries. I'll do that same lighter green for the top of the carrot. And then we'll do a purple for the background. Like a nice purple, like V12. Pale lilac. Oh yeah, Mary Engelbright. All those cherries, right? Love those. I always loved her artwork. She's still around. I just haven't seen her in a while. I'm going kind of over the edge because I'm isolating only the images that I want, right? So it doesn't matter if I go over the edge into the next square over. Just getting that purple. By the way, those of you who were interested in going to Hawaii in April of next year, I'm going to be sharing info with my premium members first this Wednesday. So for all of you premium members, during our live on Wednesday, I'm going to be sharing more info for how you can sign up. And there's only 5 rooms left. So I hope you'll join us. Okay. Coloring in a little more of that background just to get that nice and solid. And then once I do the embossing on top, it'll look even better. I almost wish I would have done a brighter purple, but that's okay. All right. I'm going to put these markers away, and then I'm going to lightly hit my paper here, especially the carrot, because that's the last thing that I've colored, with my heat tool, just to make sure that when I do my heat embossing, it's not going to go all crazy. Hawaii trip, it's we're renting a house for like 5 nights, 6 days in Maui. Okay. I'm just going to hit that a little bit. I don't want to do it too much because, I mean, this is a plastic mat. To become a premium member, there's a link down in the video description. It says join my membership, or just a join button will take you there. All right. I'm going to put this back in my Misty, and we're going to hope it lines up again. I don't see white one, but let's hope. Okay. You know what? First, I think I almost want to test. Let's see. Anti-static powder tool. Oh, I need to zoom out too. Okay, anti-static powder tool. Trying to not go over the sticky mat, but if I do, it's okay. And I'm going to, you know what? I feel like I want to, I'm going to take the sticky mat out. I'm covering the stickiness down here with Post-it tape. Just because it will keep it from getting embossing powder everywhere. It's fine that it doesn't look quite right. I mostly just want to protect areas of the sticky mat so I can test this embossing powder. Okay. Oh, and I just spilled embossing powder all over. So that's good. That's a good test, right? Okay. Oh, it's sliding right off beautifully. All right, I think we're going to be good. All right, doing some anti-static powder all over. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to pull up that one. There we go. And I'm using Versamark ink. Guess I don't need the full background, but I do need those segments that I'm using. All right, down in that corner. I'm going to move my mat back in that corner, and I'm going to stamp one more time. I saw the mat like shift as I lifted it. Okay. Now I'm going to be very, very careful as I apply the gold embossing powder because I want it to come off where this Post-it tape is so that it will not go all over my sticky mat. Probably should have put Post-it tape up here at the top too, but that's okay. Okay. Lovely. I feel like I want to get just some more right there. Okay. And then for heating it up, I'm going to remove it. Lovely. That's really pretty with all the gold. I see that. I think it looks really pretty. Okay. That worked out better than I'd hoped. Perfect. Okay. So put all this away before I spill embossing powder everywhere, which would be so sad. Okay, and then I think I'm going to use my scissors to cut these out because I think with the dies, I might run the risk of losing the gold edge on the outside. So I just want to be really meticulous with this. What is the image in the bottom right next to the pear? Are you talking about this one? It's just a flower. This is like a lemon or lime, but this is just a flower. Okay. Okay, so we've got that gold edge all along the outside. Oh, hello. And then I'm just going to cut these other two out as well. Okay. Yeah, I really love how the watermelon turned out too. Still Not Still. That's a great name. I like the watermelon too, especially with that gold on top. I think it worked out really well. I'm glad I didn't stress over the seeds because I think it looks great just with the gold. Okay. Almost done here. Okay, so now I've got to figure out a greeting for this particular card, and I have embossing powder everywhere. I do not know how I missed it. Hold on. I gotta like get a baby wipe and wipe up all of it. Got like embossing powder all over here, and then I noticed it when I picked up my Misty that it's all, hold on, let me zoom out here. So it goes, so it focuses. It's all right here. Oops. It's everywhere. All right. And I'll just use my microfiber cloth just to dry everything. All right, so I'm thinking I will, let's see, do I want to do one of the greetings from, yeah, I think I will do one of the greetings from the stamp set itself. And, all right, put that down right there. So I had out here somewhere some card fronts. So I'm going to figure out exactly what I want to do on my card. Okay. So I've got my little fruit and veggie images. I'm thinking I want just like to keep it as like a really simple card. Like maybe it's this and then the greetings right there. Like very modern, I guess you'd say. So maybe a just saying hello like down in that corner. I think that could look really, really cool. Okay. I think I want this a little more centered. More like this. And then I'll have that just saying hello in black. And I think even if I have like a gold heart or something, I could put a gold heart right there. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'm just playing with placement at this point, just trying to figure out exactly where I want everything. I guess I could have the just saying hello be in gold as well. I think that's a great idea. They would be cute postage stamps, Vicki. I agree. Okay. Use a little bit of Versamark ink. And I'm going to stamp that twice just to make sure I have a really good impression. All right. Back to the gold embossing powder. Yes, Beth, it is very folk art. I love that look. Oh, lovely. I was trying to be very, very gentle when I press the stamp down, and look how thin and light those lines are. Looks great. All right, I'm gonna heat up my heat tool off to the side so it's really, really hot. So when I come in to melt my embossing powder, it doesn't have to stay very long on the paper. That's a way to prevent warping. Line that up a little. I think I'm gonna have to open up my card. Get it from the inside too. Almost melted. Get it from the inside. I'm just trying to prevent warping as much as possible, you know? I'm gonna hold that cardstock back because it was starting to warp a little. Okay, that's pretty flat. Okay. We need some fun foam tape on the back of these little guys. Okay, now is when we start putting these all together, and I'm going to place them first, and then I'll pick them up and put them onto the card. Yeah, I think I definitely want to put like a couple little gold hearts up here, or some sequins or something. I think that could be really cute. All right, start with the watermelon. I'm not pressing it down very hard because I'm gonna grab a little T-square ruler and bring this in and make sure it's straight. Oh, that's pretty straight. Okay, now I'll press that down. Those lined up just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna see if I have like some little gold hearts or something like that in my stash. I want to say I do, like some little heart sequins or something. Or like some little rhinestone stickers. Oh, hello. Stop. I'm a mess, y'all. I'm finding out different buttons. What is it doing? I'm trying to like close my drawer and my keyboard is like getting buttons pressed. Okay. All right. Gotta grab some sequins or something like that. Okay, I've got like gold dots. I swear I had gold hearts. And why I didn't put them out where I could find them easily is a good question. Because that seems like something I'd use a lot of, you know? I've got a lot of like gold, just circles, like gold dots, but not a lot of like gold hearts. All right, all those companies out there. That's what we need. We need gold heart enamel dots. Get on it. Yeah, it's a party. All right, do I have little gold hearts somewhere? That seems like something that would be like a staple, right? Am I going crazy? Does someone have gold enamel hearts? Okay, I'm not seeing any. I think I might have to, I mean, I have some little red heart stickers. Yeah, I found a horn blower in my in my drawer. Okay, I want to see, does this button really do that? Okay, hold on. I've got to quit my Spotify. Okay, hold on. Let me test this. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't realize there was a button to play that. Oh my word. Okay. There's all these little sounds I can add to my live stream, and I've never used them. That's hilarious. Okay, I do not know where some gold hearts are, but I do have these enamel hearts from Concord and Ninth. Like some, like 2 gold hearts up there or something like that. I think that could be really cute. Do I want the small ones or the big ones? I think I want the big ones. I'm going to grab an X-Acto knife so I can pick one up. Like if I'm going to put a couple hearts right there. That's cute, right? I haven't pressed it down yet, so I can still move it a little bit. Yeah, right there. One more. Oh, I could cut some gold cardstock hearts. That is true. Yeah, I really want the gold. Sorry, enamel hearts. We need some gold hearts to like mimic back to the gold on the embossing and on the greeting. Come on. It's okay if the paper tears a little bit. Oh, it didn't. I would say, oh, it did, just a tiny bit. If it didn't tear the paper, or if it did, I could cover it up because that's where the other hearts are going to go anyway, right? Okay. I've got Simon Says Stamp, Mini Hearts Party, or Mini Hearts. I want like that size. Okay. We're going to have to get some hearts. And I happen to have a little bit of gold cardstock right here. That's convenient. Perfect. And you know what? I will just cut this entire thing because as you can see in my die packaging, I save any non-used hearts. So I can just use them. Alrighty. Just gonna run this through my Anna Griffin Empress. If it'll turn on. Why aren't you turning on? There we go. I think this will, oh, hello. I'm losing all the hearts. I think this will be perfect because then I can pop up the heart on a little tiny foam square and it'll be popped up just like the squares. That'll be great. Okay. Let's get all of these corralled. Then I will use this Trinity Stamps little heart or little picker-upper. Oh yeah, the gold hearts were a good move. I could put them on little foam squares or I could just glue them. I'm trying to decide. I mean, I guess if I wanted to get really creative, I could put that little heart down there. A bigger one at the bottom. That's cute. I like that. That's cute. Okay, let's do that. We'll do the 3 at the top and the 1 at the bottom here. I think I'm just going to glue them down. I'm not going to do... Yes, I could double layer them. That is true. So then they would be popped up. That is true. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll just glue them down. Whoa, hello glue blob. That is way too much. Come back. What are you doing? I'm going to try to pick up. I think my glue bottle had a lot of air pressure in it or something. There we go. All right. Either that or I just don't know my own strength. I'm like being super careful now. Okay. Got a little bit of glue blobbing out right there, but not a big deal. Oh, cute. Love that. All right, so here are the cards for tonight. Went about 90 minutes per usual. So even though I did 2 cards, 2 very different cards, looks great. I'm gonna put these hearts back in their little pocket here. By the way, these little triangle trays from Simon Says Stamp are good for like corralling all of your little die cuts and sequins. And then you can just go bloop, put them all in. It's great. All right. I'm just gonna get this die put away so I don't lose anything. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do a little spiel for those watching the edited replay, and then I'll come back, and if there are any questions that I've missed, which I'm sure I did because I was very concentrated on the cards tonight, you can repeat those and I will try to answer those for you. All right, so here are the 2 cards for tonight. Very different looks on both, but I love how they turned out. I did both cards in 90 minutes from start to finish, so these worked up really, really fast. I hope you enjoyed. Everything I've used for these cards is listed down below in the video description. Everything's available over at SimonSaysStamp.com, specifically from the latest release where these products were included. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Okay, all right. Now that the edited replay people are taken care of, if you have any questions, please repeat them in the chat. And thank you so much for all your compliments on the cards. I think they turned out so cute as well. I love it. I'm scrolling up to see if I missed anything right away. Molly's heading to bed, maybe? Thanks for coming, Molly. Oh, Cindy's asking, do cats think the Empress is making a can opener sound? You know what, it does kind of sound like one. My cats don't come running with the can opener though, because like we've never given them canned tuna or anything like that. My old cats did, but Sophie and Daphne will come running if they hear me open like a plastic container because they think it's their dry food being opened up to give them more food. I love it. Laura says, ooh, I bought me an Empress after hearing you talk about yours. Absolutely love it. Yes. The Empress was the best thing I ever did for die cutting. I realized like early on that I avoided die cutting because I just hated all of the die cutting machines that I had used. And I hated that the plates warped so quickly. I hated that that the magnetic mat really didn't hold the dies in place. And the Empress solved all that for me. It's just beautiful. I love the Empress. Okay. Scrolling down, seeing if there's any coming to the end. Andrea says, I like them both, but I really like the fruit veggie one. Kind of surprises me since that was the set I couldn't figure out. Really neat looking card though. Yeah, it's a different background. It's very specific. I think but there's a lot of different ways you could use it. You could use it as the whole background. You could use it as little segments like this. You could stamp the background and then put the solid stamps to color in the different segments of the tiles. I think there's a lot of different things you could do with it. Oh yes, Cindy says, I have excess diamond painting trays. I use like that for collecting excess bits and pieces. Yes, absolutely. For these little triangle trays. In fact, I have these from Simon Says Stamp. I've got a few different kinds. I have a bunch of these from Simon because I want to see if they sell them in sets of 3. I have this one from Honeybee, which is like a flexible one. So you can, gather your stuff and then when you pour it, into your container. And then I have this brass one from Pink Fresh, which has like a really narrow pointed tip. Isn't that interesting? I love that. I love those. And I didn't realize I had so many till I cleaned my craft room. Okay. Who sells the heart die? It is from Simon Says Stamp. They're dies that I did for them. There's the Mini Hearts Party, which cuts out a bunch of hearts. It's the same kind of heart, but a bunch of them in a couple different sizes. And then the Mini Hearts dies, which are still for sale. They are, let me grab this down here, because I have 2 sets of the dies. I have one where I've cut all the dies apart, and then the other one, the dies are all how they come in a row. And you can see all the different there's skinny hearts and wide hearts, and there's a few different kinds. So you can see that. So once again, the one that's like this, where it's all in one line, you're getting basically one of each size and design. That's just called Mini Hearts. It's been out for a long time. It's a really inexpensive die set. I want to say it's only like $6 or something like that. And then this is a bigger one, a little more expensive, but you get a ton of hearts all at the same time. So I always cut it. I only need like a few hearts. And so I just put the remainder into the storage pocket. And that's Mini Hearts Party from Simon Says Stamp. And I'll link to both when I update the supply list. Anita says, random question. Would you and your husband ever consider making a card together live? Maybe. It would probably be me helping him. Well, I think it'd be interesting to just let him go, let him free. That'd be interesting too. What is the rainbow looking design with leaves in the big square under the watermelon? Hold on, let me go back to the stamp. Hold on. Okay. This one? That's got to be the one we're talking about. It really can be whatever you want. I think it could be an orange, and you've got like different segments to make it really modern looking. It could be an apple. It could be a plum. It could be anything that's kind of that circular shape, or you can make it a rainbow. And you've got 2 of them. You've got one up here and down here. Yeah. Andrea says, I read tuna, food type, is not good for cats because of its mercury content. Yes, I have heard that. I don't know if it's because of the mercury content, but I have heard that straight up tuna from the can is not the best choice. Are dies available for the hug set? For the stencil? No. It was originally designed possibly for an event, and then Simon went with a different product for an event. So it was supposed to be just like the 2 things, just the stencil and the stamps. So I don't think there were dies, but if you wanted dies, you could request them, you know. How do you decide the size of a card? Well, this one, because the stencil was like specifically designed for an A2 card, a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. That's why I chose that specific size. And over here, you could put it on a bigger card. You could put it on a smaller card. It just depends what you want to do with it. I thought with these just 3 images, it would look nice on an A2 card because it's not too big for the smaller images. Let's see. Laura says, yes, the Empress also helps me because of my hand issues from having RA, rheumatoid arthritis, and the cuddle bug was killing my hands. Have you tried Love from Lizzie peel-offs? What is that? Are they kind of like rub-on transfers? What are those? Do I need to Google it? I'll have to Google it later. I don't know that I'm familiar with those. Let's see here. Yes, Betsy, my husband is a good sport. He probably would do it. I'll have to ask him. Let's see here. What size is an A6? I think A6 is closest to like a 4x6 card. I could totally be wrong. I only have A6 envelopes. And I have them, let me grab them and we'll measure them. And I have them because when I do like a shaker card that's an A2 shaker card, I need a little more space to put it in an envelope. Okay, so here's an A6 envelope. Let's measure. Let me get out a longer ruler. All right, 6.5 by 4 3/4. So it's probably more like 4.5 by 6 1/4. So a little bit more than 4 by 6 to fit into an A6 envelope. I don't know if an A6 card would be the same size, but I mean, that's probably pretty similar. Let's put those envelopes back in my drawer. And maybe I'll pick out some envelopes for these cards while I'm sitting here. Okay, I think this one would be great for the hugs card and for the fruit. We're gonna go with yellow because I think like a bright, happy yellow envelope would be great. Okay, so these are both from Paper Source. This is the color Beet. Isn't that pretty? That'd be pretty with that card. And then a nice bright yellow because it's just happy. Yeah, I like that. I think that's great. All right. Oh, Laura says they are stickers, kind of. She has different sizes, strips, dots, hearts, and stars, so many colors. Check her out. You really may like them. Thanks for the tip. I might have to go check that out. Do I have any Christmas and July stamps coming out in July? No. Traditionally, Simus' stamp doesn't have their holiday release until October. There are a few that come out in September, however. So you'll start seeing stuff from Simon starting in September for Christmas. However, I do know a lot of companies have stuff coming out in July. Spellbinders always has a lot in July. Waffle Flower has stuff in July. A bunch of other companies have stuff coming out as soon as July for the holidays. So that's your tip on that. Okay. We are Memory Keepers. Envelope Maker says 4.5 by 6 1/4. Oh, so that's basically what I guessed. Let's see. Let's see. Are you going to use the Cheeky Reboot anytime soon from the Green Farm? Let's see. Is that the one that's over here? You know, is that, do I have that one? Do I not? I don't know. That might be the one that wait, I swear I do have that one. Hold on. I'm like checking my stash here because I happen to have my... Okay, that one's not that one. That's got to be it. Anya Reboot. Anya Reboot? Is it the Anya Reboot? That's the one I have, is Anya Reboot. Yeah. I don't know. Did they do a cheeky reboot? I would love to. They don't keep those large sets around for very long. They discontinue them. Like, they only do like one run. So I don't know that I have that one. I would love to, though. Erica says, I've never cleaned my blending brushes, but recently instead of getting a smooth blend, I'm getting color swatches on my paper, scratches on my paper. No matter how light I go, should I buy new, try to clean? I think you might be where I'm at with my blending brushes, which is that there's so much ink in them that they all start to sort of get crusty. So I think I'm going to have to send my brushes to a spa day, which basically is just using a little bit of baby shampoo, and you really kind of like scrub the brush. You can just use the palm of your hand, and you'll just be going like this, like brushing it, and like kind of go over the knuckles of your palm or whatever, kind of like really scrub it in. And then, or just because I have one out on my work surface, I can show you. You could use one of these Positively, what is it, Everything tool from Simon Says Stamp, and it's got these like little edges on it. And you put some soap down on this and then scrub the brush. Anyway, a lot of ink's going to come out probably. You're going to want to do that and then rinse them until it mostly is clear when you rinse out the water rinse out the brush. And then when you go to dry them, just put a towel out on your work surface and just put them head down, like face down, so that as they dry, all the water can come out from inside the brush. They're going to take possibly a few days to dry out completely. So maybe you're going on a trip, you're going on a vacation, you're not going to use your brushes for a while. Give them a good clean before you go, because you're not going to want to use until they're completely dry. Yes, and Vicky says not hot water. Very true. Do not use hot water. Use like just a lukewarm water. It's great. Laura says, what coloring markers do you recommend for starting out? I really like alcohol markers in general. And if those are the type you're going for, I would say start it with Olos, especially because Copics have so many. The Copic line is so vast and so large that if you suffer from full set syndrome, which a lot of us crafters do, we want the whole rainbow, not just a few colors. We want the whole thing. We want all of it. We want all of it at our disposal. So if you suffer from full set syndrome, maybe start with Olos, because they have I think they only have 160 colors right now. They're going to be adding more, but you could just buy the 160 now, and then as colors are released in the future, then you just add to your collection a little bit at a time. That's what I would recommend. I'd start with Olos. The Altenew alcohol markers are really good too. I don't use them as much just because I've invested in my Copics and I have the Olos, so I don't break out the Altenew markers much, but they are very similar. Yeah, that's what I would start there. If you're looking for watercolor markers, I'd go with Caron markers. Caron Brush Marker Pros. Okay. They did a cheeky one reboot. Really? I think I missed the pre-order. Dang it. I'm a big fan. There are like a couple companies out there that, regardless if I'm going to use them in videos, I will purchase them. I will purchase Mama Elephant and The Greeting Farm. Those are the two companies. I just love their images. They're so great for coloring. I love them so much. Yes, some crafters do like Ohuhu. I have not purchased them myself. I don't know them, but a lot of people like them. But, you know, I can only speak for what I have. All right, I'm going to close up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. We're closing in on 2 hours. Thanks for stopping by, spending some time with me on a Monday night. I hope you had a good time. Maybe walked away with some ideas on what to do with your crafty stash. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.